Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. My name is Oluyemi Adeosun, and tonight we'll be looking at the topic, building an effective talent pipeline. Excited to have with us the second time as a Dimejesi, who will be facilitating this all-important session and discussing it with us this evening. Let me read her profile very quickly. Chinaza is a result-driven human resource manager, okay, at Broad Oaks British School, where she champions talent development, employee engagement, and organizational excellence. She has an MBA in management and a strong background in shaping people's strategies. She also has a proven passion for helping individuals and teams unlock their potential. She's the founder of the HR Career Guidance Program, an initiative dedicated to mentoring and supporting aspiring and practicing professionals. Through this platform, she has provided guidance on career pathways, skills development, and practical insight that empower HR talent. As a facilitator, Chinaza brings energy, clarity, and practical approach that participants engage with, equipping them with tools they can immediately apply. She's committed to turning every learning session into a transformative experience. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking with us this evening on the topic, building effective talent pipeline, let's receive Chinaza Dimejesi. You have the floor, ma'am.
Sorry about that. Good evening. My apologies. I need to mute this. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Oluyemi. It's such a pleasure to be here for the second time. Thank you also for the warm welcome and the introduction. So I really do not need to go into talking much about myself. So I'm just going to go straight into what we have for today, which is building effective talent pipeline. So typically talking about how to move from a reactive hiring to having a strategic workforce readiness in the organization. So the training objective for this session is to introduce the concepts and importance of talent pipelines to guide us through how to build and maintain a healthy pipeline, to share tools and best practices for effective talent management. And we believe that by the end of the session, we should be able to define a talent pipeline and distinguish it from a talent pool, to identify key types of talent pipelines, to explain why a healthy pipeline matters for organizational success, to outline the stages of building a pipeline, to apply practical strategies and tools to maintain pipeline health, and to recognize common pitfalls and then implement best practices. So moving on. So one of the issues, or one of the top pressing threats to organizational health, according to research, right, has been identified as availability of key skills and talents. So identifying or having key talents, or the quality of talents that an organization needs, or quality of skills that an organization needs, has been ranked among the top most pressing threats to the health of an organization. So there are factors that are responsible for the struggle to find key talents or key workers in an organization. And we talk about Great Resignation. So from COVID, after COVID, we begin to see that a lot of people are resigning. There's a lot of resignations here and there. You see that a lot of people are no longer interested in staying in an organization, long term. Okay. Another reason is retirement. People, I think now we have a lot of people that are in their retirement age. So you have a lot of people retiring. There are even people that retire voluntarily, just so that they're able to focus on their own personal brand, Okay, and then we now have a changing perception of work. And what does that entail? People have moved from, or work has moved from survival to self-expression. So work for people is no longer about earning a living. It's more about creating meaning, expressing their identity and living impact, having impact in anywhere they go, to the work that they do. Another perception that has changed is stability. So people have moved from thinking of work in the area, in the perception of stability to flexibility. So people are now, looking at, okay, getting a remote job, working as a freelancer, having a side hustle, or just digital independence. Okay. Then another is hierarchies. So um, a lot of organizations now are not really focused on hierarchy. They're more focused on collaboration. Okay, people want to work in teams. People are trying to work in organizations where they can work in teams. A flat structure that encourages open communication and teamwork. And then another one is time spent. So the focus is not really much on, okay, how much time you've spent on a particular work, but it's more about the value that has been created. So success is not longer measured in the sense of how much time you've spent on this particular task. It's now measured by the value you've created, the results that has been generated from the task that has been done. Is now measured by creativity and problem solving. So instead of measuring by, okay, this person clocked in at this time and clocked out at that time, no, it's not measured. Focus is now more on the value that is being created. Then another is the fact that work has moved from being office-centric to borderless. You literally can create, or you can have a career. You can develop your career or you can build your career from the comfort of your home, in front of your laptop, with your laptop, right? Anywhere in the world, right? So it's no longer conformed or confined to an office setting. So work is now borderless. People can, work from anywhere. We know that already. People can work from anywhere in the world. So perception of work has also moved from company loyalty to personal brand. So people are really not people are not really looking at, okay, what they're not really focused on, being loyal to a company. They are really all about personal brand, okay, personal branding. So people don't just work for companies anymore. They build with them career-wise. So career are becoming like a portfolio for skills, not just, a single job part. So people work in different organizations now just so that they're able to, um, gather experiences, create, this portfolio where they have series of experience, series of skills that they've attained or they've acquired over the period of working with different organizations. So it's not really about company loyalty anymore for a lot of people, but it's now more focused on personal brand. And then work has changed from the perspective of, putting in your everyday efforts, working 24/7, having this mindset that, oh, you must work 24/7 in order to be recognized, or in order to gain the reward of your hard work. So it's no longer the 24/7 hustle mindset anymore, because that is actually beginning to lose appeal. So work for people now, meaningful work includes rest, a mental health, and personal growth. So why am I mentioning this, or why did I take us through this? It's just for us to be able to understand what the talent, what the structure looks like in terms of acquiring talent, what it entails right now, how people think when they think about work, so that it begins to guide your ability to create a healthy pipeline, so that you are not caught unawares when somebody leaves the organization. So it helps you to understand that people can leave at any time. People can leave an organization at any given point. They don't really need to give you any reason for leaving. The only thing is for you to be prepared. So which is why it is very important that you know how, or that we know how to build a healthy. So healthy is very important because it's when it's healthy, then it's very it has a very positive impact on the organization. So by the time we have a healthy talent pipeline, it's very easy to hire or to get people, quality talent into the organization, and it will not the organization will not be destabilized just because somebody left the organization. So moving on, understanding the talent pipeline concept. Okay, so what is talent pipeline? Talent pipeline offers a steady stream of qualified candidates, channeling them into talent pools or communities. Okay, so it is basically it is a proactively strategic process of identifying, attracting, developing, and retaining a pool of qualified candidates so as to meet the current and future talent needs of the organization. So the key word there is the fact that it is a proactively strategic process, right? And another keyword is so that it's able to meet current and future talent needs. Okay, so it is proactive. Talent pipeline is a proactive talent management, is a form of proactive talent management strategic process. Okay, and it is also tailored towards making sure that the current and the future talent needs of the organizations are met. Okay, so it's a very strategic process. So basically, we are talking about a strategic process that attracts, nurtures, and retains talent. It focuses on future organizational needs, not just immediate vacancies. Then it turns candidates into relationship, not just entries in a database. Okay. Then it supports the business continuity and business growth, and also enhances employee experience. So those are what talent pipeline. That's what talent pipeline is all about. So let's talk about talent candidate database, either candidate or talent. So the database, talent pool, and talent pipeline. So these are very different terms. Most times we talk about talent pool, but in the real sense of it, a lot of what we are talking about is talent pipeline, right? So let's now look at what the differentiating factors are. So talent database is like everybody that's associated, that has come in contact with the organization. So candidates or talent database is like the reservoir. So picture this, a reservoir or a warehouse where all candidates, so whether it is an applicant, whether it's whether the candidates came through referrals, whether the person applied, whether we sourced for these candidates, whether it's coming through an agency, whether they are past candidates, past employees rather, who left in good standing, whether they are rejected candidates, or maybe it's a headhunted prospect. So all this information, this is where the information is kept. All of this information, this is where they are kept, right? Then when you now talk about the talent pool, so from the reservoir, I mean, from all of this, it's not all of them that it's not all these candidates that are going to be a good fit for the role that you are, the roles that are existing in the organization or that will exist in the organization. So from this reservoir now, you filter out people who meet certain established criteria. So it is very important that we underline the word established criteria, because without that established criteria, it will be difficult for us to know who to filter out or how to filter out people. So the talent pool is basically potentially qualified people. So you are filtering out people based on the established criteria, and then you are moving them from the database, right? You're moving them to the pool. So once you confirmed, you're moving into the pool once you've confirmed that they meet the organization's desired standards or the organization's future needs. Then we now talk about the talent pipeline, which essentially has to do with the ready to move candidates. So these talents are like realistically, you can move them realistically into the organization without minimal delay. So you can move them immediately. You've gone through, you've filtered them out, you've been connecting with them, you've been engaging with them. The only thing that will remain is just to have them maybe come in for 1 or 2 interviews, make sure that they go through the right process and they are able to join in immediately, right? So the talent pipeline is basically talent that can realistically move into the organization without minimal delay. So these people are people that you have to maintain active relationships with. So that is the difference between the candidate database, the talent pool, and the talent pipeline. Okay, so basically a talent pipeline is like a shortcut to a quicker and a smarter hire. So let's talk about the benefits of a talent pipeline, right? So from a reactive standpoint to a proactive standpoint. First of all, it reduces the time to hire. You can basically fill open positions 25 to 40% faster than starting from scratch, just because you have people that are standby, that you have on standby, that because you've been engaging with them, you've been nurturing them, they're able to fill up positions faster. Then another one is cost optimization. Okay, so proactive hiring can reduce recruitment costs by 30 to 50% by eliminating expensive last-minute recruitment drives or reducing dependency on external agencies. Okay, so having a talent pipeline. So organizations practicing proactive hiring report 35% improvement in the quality of hires due to thorough vetting process and cultural alignment. Enhancement. Start from quality enhancement. So it has been reported that organizations practicing proactive hiring report 35% improvement in the quality of hires due to thorough vetting process and the cultural alignment assessment. And then when we talk about another benefits has been retention improvement. So companies see 25% improvement in employee retentions when using proactive hiring strategies, as they have a better understanding of how what the organizational culture is before joining. So because you've been engaging them, you've been nurturing them, they understand what the culture is, they've prepared themselves for how they can adapt to, or they've even been adapting to the organizational culture before they join. So for them to when they join in, it's easier for them to just be fully integrated, because it's something they're already subconsciously or consciously used to before joining. So another one is scalability. So when business expansion opportunity arises, companies with talent pipelines can scale rapidly without recruitment delays. And that's because they've prepared themselves for that period. They have people that are ready to join the organization as soon as possible. So by the time they scale, maybe they are launching into a new field or a new sector, or they are launching a new product, or they want to go into a new whatever it is, they have people ready to join in immediately. Then another one is market leadership. So companies that have talent pipelines or that engage in proactive hiring, they position themselves ahead of competitors in securing top talent. So by the time your organization has a talent pipeline, they are engaging with candidates, they are way ahead of competitors. They will get the best of the talent, right? While the other ones will be struggling to get the best talent. Then another one is risk mitigation. So proactive hiring reduces risk associated with unexpected departure or sudden market changes. So like I said earlier, when somebody leaves the organization, when you have a healthy talent pipeline, it doesn't cause any form of disruptions because there's somebody waiting, there's somebody that is already, whose mind has already been, prepared, or who has made up their mind that, oh, once there's an opportunity, I'm definitely joining this organization, just by the way they've been able to, nurture me, they've been able to engage with me, right? So these are the benefits of talent pipeline. Okay, so moving on, these are the common forms of talent pipeline. So when we talk about talent pipeline, there are two types, and that's because talent pipeline is not just based on external candidates. You're trying to get people externally to join the organization. It also has to do with internal. It has to really do with the internal employees, right? So we have the internal pipeline and the external pipeline. So when we talk about the internal pipeline, we're looking at leadership development, we're looking at succession planning, we're looking at replacement planning, all right? And leadership development, basically developing an employee or selected employees for, taking them through leadership trainings, or, just positioning them for acquiring any leadership skills, so that when it's time for them to take up leadership roles, they are fully ready. All right. Then succession planning is really still related to leadership development, because you are essentially preparing this employee to take up a senior role, right? To take up to succeed somebody, or to just take up a leadership role. So you've already mapped out the people that are well suited for this role, and then you are engaging them, you are nurturing them, you are preparing them ahead for this particular role, right? And then we have the replacement planning. These are people that, if, for instance, somebody maybe is going for a maternity leave, or somebody leaves an organization, these are people that that can easily replace this particular person, right? You're already preparing them, you're nurturing them for a time as that. Then these three forms of internal pipeline they are facilitated by internal mobility, right? So it's through internal mobility that we are able to facilitate internal pipeline to get to fulfill a role. And what does that mean? So you're moving somebody from, what does internal mobility mean? You're moving someone from a particular role to another role, right? It could be a higher role, it could be like a cross-functional role. It could be moving somebody from this department to another department, just so that they are able to maybe gather new skills or gain new experiences. You understand? So essentially, what drives role fulfillment in internal pipeline is the internal mobility. So internal mobility is like the vehicle that drives these three types of internal pipeline to getting the role fulfilled. Then let's talk about the external pipeline. So then you can facilitate external pipelines through campus or graduate programs, through referrals, contingents, or contracts form. Then you have the diversity, you have the alumni, or the boomerang. So what that means is people that have left the organization, if they'll be willing to come back, or if they're willing to get somebody else, somebody that they can easily refer, right? Okay, and I have worked in this place before. I think I would want to come back, maybe in another position, right? Or I can actually refer somebody just because I know what this organization does, what this organization is all about, what their culture is, because I've worked there before. I know who I can refer to work in the organization, right? So these are ways that, these are forms in which external pipeline can take. So moving on to stages. Please, can you confirm you can hear me? Just want to be sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So stages of building a talent pipeline. So first of all, you have to identify critical and future roles. So how does that translate now when we're talking about the internal and external? So during in this particular slide, when we're talking about the stages of building a talent pipeline, we will talk about it relating to internal, and we'll talk about it in relation to the external, right? So what does identifying critical and future roles look like internally? So we are talking about spotting succession gaps. We're talking about identifying key roles, right? We're talking about identify employees with leadership potential. So we are looking at high potential employees, the A-flyers, and all of that, right? We are identifying them. Then when you're talking about the external, we are looking at market needs, forecasting them, then identifying roles that are critical for growth, external roles that are critical for growth. So maybe our objective for next year would be to expand to a new product. So we want to develop a new product. So what does that mean? We have to know, okay, what are the roles that are existing in the organization now, and what roles are not existing in the organization now, and what roles are we envisioning that we are going to hire in the nearest future. So you want to identify critical and future roles. And then we say critical because those roles are roles that if the incumbent leaves today, it could disrupt business activities. Those are very critical roles. What will happen if the person handling finance leaves today? What will happen if the CEO resigns today? What will happen if the chief technology officer resigns today, right? These particular roles are very critical, right? You want to identify them and make sure that there is always a backup, right? That's backup existing for them just in case they leave, so that it doesn't cause disruption to business activities. Then the next stage is to attract and source potential talent. So what does that entail for in terms of the internal form of talent pipeline? So you are going to use internal job postings, mobility platforms, and talent reviews. So what that means is you have to first advertise this role internally. Let employees let them apply for it, right? So because you've been developing these people that, you've been taking them through leadership opportunities, you've been developing them, you've been nurturing them, they will have the confidence to apply for this role. And then you will have the confidence to even post it, because you know that there are people that would essentially apply for this particular opportunity or this particular job opportunity. Then mobility platform would be moving opportunities where employees can be moved from one department to another, just so that they are able to acquire the skills from that particular team, and they're able to grow within the organization as well. Then, and for external, we talk about employer branding, right? You have to, first of all, brand your organization and position it as an employer of choice. Very important, because without employer brand, it will be hard to attract top or quality talent. It will even be hard to nurture them or to engage with them, right? To be hard. So if we are able to position as an employer of choice, then it will be very easy to attract and source potential talent. So that's the first stage for attracting and sourcing potential talent, ensuring that you develop your employer brand. Okay, and that would mean that you are engaging, you have employers who can give testimonials about working in the organization. You post leadership or thought leadership posts. You celebrate your employees when they join, when they reach their milestone, and all of that. You share what your organization is all about. you share what your organization's values are and all of that. So it's just about making people want to work with your organization, right? Then you can also utilize referrals. Ask current employees and past employees that left in good standing to refer people to the organization, right? Ask them to refer people. It's even easier, it's faster because these people know what the organization wants. They know the kind of people that the organization is looking for. And so they can easily refer people and it will be easier. We've had in my place of work, we've had people refer current staff, and it was way easier than us putting adverts and all of that and doing all our recruitment drive. So with the referral, these persons were already the kind of talent that we were looking for, right? So with that referral, it was easy for us to hire them. And then another one would be sourcing campaigns. So that would mean recruitment drives, posting on job boards and all of that, okay? Or posting on or advertising the roles on social media and all of that. Those are sourcing campaigns. Those are ways that you can attract and source potential talent. Then moving on to the next stage, which is assessing and segmenting candidates. Okay, so for internal, what it looks like is that you will be evaluating performance reviews. Okay, evaluate performance reviews. Evaluate through performance reviews. So at the end of your appraisals, right? What does this person's performance look like? What is this person? What are the skill gap that we need this person to fill, right? Okay, this person is performing very well, but we think that this person is lacking some leadership, skills or leadership, leadership abilities, right? So how are we going to, what kind of development program or development activities or training programs are we going to give to this person to be able to close that gap, right? So it will also help you to know, okay, is this person able to be promoted to the role that we are looking for? Or if this person occupying this role leaves today, this person we are appraising today, or if a manager leaves, let me put it like that, if a manager leaves or if his manager leaves, this person we are appraising today, is the person able to take the role of this manager, right? It could just be, okay, where is this person at performance-wise? Where is this person at developmental-wise, right? So we are evaluating the person through the performance reviews, through potential ratings, and through skills mapping. So we are mapping out, okay, we are looking at the skills that this person have and the skill this person is meant to have, right? So what we now do is, okay, this is where this person is at the moment, and this is where we expect this person to be at the moment. Or maybe like in a team, and we are praising the entire team, this person is at this stage, this other person is at this stage, this other person is at this stage. So you know who exactly has maybe the highest skill, or you understand where each person is and where you ideally want them to be. That would be skills mapping. Then external, when we talk about assessing and segmenting candidates externally, that would essentially mean that you're screening resumes, because now you've done your sourcing campaigns, you've asked for referrals, you've used your employer branding, you will definitely be receiving applications, right? So you have to screen the resumes, you will conduct interviews, and then you evaluate if the candidates are culturally fit, right? Then the next stage is to nurture and engage relationships. So what does it look like internally? That would mean offering mentorships, career pathways, defining the career pathways of the employees, telling them, okay, this is what we think, this is where we want you to be, or this is the parts or the position we are preparing you for. So we'll need you to, take up these courses, go through these, mentorship sessions with this person, be coached by this person, or take up these courses, just to develop yourself. or do this particular task, or just assigning tasks to the person or stretching the person, okay? Stretching the person beyond what they know now because you want them to attain certain skill, how will I put it? You want them to be able to attain or acquire the skills that is relevant for the role that you want them to take up in the future. Then it also has to do with nurturing and engaging, has to do with continuous learning. Okay, that's it for the internal. Then when we now talk about it externally, they're saying you're keeping the candidates warm through personalized outreach. Okay, so we are not just sending out information to them in a generic way. So you're not just saying, oh, dear candidates, you, and the same what you send to one person is the same thing you're sending to other people. Please confirm you can hear me. I just got a message and my network is unstable.
We can hear you loud and clear. Please continue.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Thank you very much. So yeah, so nurture for the external, that would mean that, like I said, it would mean that you are sending out personalized outreach messages to them, newsletters or events that is personalized to them. So for instance, if the candidates that you are keeping warm is a data analyst, right? You have to send them say outreach messages or newsletters or events that is personalized to them as a data analyst. So you cannot be sending them newsletters that is related to HR, to someone that is doing that is, that is a data analyst. So it has to be personalized to them. So that is one of the ways that is the next stage for building a talent pipeline. And then the next stage is to convert pipeline candidates into hires, right? So what does that look like for internal? So it means that you're promoting, signing, employees to key roles. That is what it looks like for internal. It's very simple. Promote or reassign. Very simple. Then external would be to move qualified candidates into the recruitment process. So just because they're in the pipeline does not mean that they are already fit for the role. They still have to go through the recruitment process. You still have to interview them. You still have to take them through. If there is any assessment that they have to do, you still have to make them do it. They still have to go through that process, okay? They have to go through the entire recruitment process. They still have to do that. So these are the stages for building a talent pipeline. So we'll now talk about tools and techniques for managing talent pipelines. So we have the HRIS and the ATS and the CRM system. So the CRM is candidate relationship management, it's not customer. Candidate relationship management. So the HRIS is to track internal talent, performance, and mobility. So you use the HRIS for internal pipelines, right? Then you use ATS to manage external candidates through hiring stages. So you use the ATS majorly for recruitment, for hiring them and all of that. Then you have the candidate relationship management system to nurture long-term relationships with passive and active talent. So this is where you use, this is the system that you use to keep in touch with candidates. For instance, if you're trying to if one of the candidates that is in the pipeline is on LinkedIn and you headhunted that person and you've connected with that person and you put the person's information into this CRM, the person would, the CRM would essentially track or monitor the person's activities on LinkedIn, right? So if the person gets a new job, the CRM will nudge you, right? And then that is an opportunity for you to engage, with the employee, congratulate them on the milestone that they've reached. If they just finished a new training, it can nudge you and tell you, oh, this person has just completed the training. You can just quickly, send a message to them. So the thing about it is that yes, your pipeline might contain a lot of candidates, but it is very important that you engage closely with the top ones. So you can segment your talent pipeline, say by the top 3%, top 10%, then top 50. So you know that the very top, maybe top 3 are like the people that you really, really, really consider as top and quality candidate. Those ones are the ones that you want to really, really engage with, like on a very personal level, right? So when you're able to combine HRIS, the ATS, and CRM together, you're able to centralize your data and then streamline your pipeline visibility effectively. Then another tool is the data analytics for pipeline health, right? We know very much that data analysis is very important to the organization at the moment and to HR, right? So with data analytics, you're able to monitor time to fill and the conversion and engagement metrics, right? Then you should also use data analytics to predict insights that will help you to anticipate talent gaps. So if you use data analytics effectively, you can predict when there will be a gap in talent, and then you'll be able to act accordingly, or you'll be able to act swiftly. Then another one is used to identify high performing sourcing channels. So you already have your data, your database, right? With data analytics, you're able to know, okay, this channel helps us to get quality candidates faster and better, right? That is what data analytics does when it comes to talent pipeline. So you should be able to transform data into actionable talent intelligence with data analytics. Then another tool and technique is social media and talent communities, right? So you want to build your employer visibility on LinkedIn. Every organization is on LinkedIn. Every organization should be on LinkedIn, right? You should be on Twitter. You should be on Twitter X. You should be on Facebook. You should be on, Instagram, all of that. So you want to build employer visibility on LinkedIn and other networks, and make sure that your brand on LinkedIn has the same tone on Instagram, on Facebook. It is synchronized. So it is not that we are saying something on LinkedIn, we are saying it's one thing on LinkedIn and then we are saying something different on Instagram. It should be synchronized, okay? Then you want to also engage candidates through content, events, and updates, okay? So another technique is to create talent communities to maintain ongoing interest, right? So with this, you'll be able to drive proactive engagement and brand loyalty. So moving on, how do we maintain a healthy pipeline? Very important. Through consistent communication and engagement. And what does that entail, really? What does consistent communication and engagement entail, right? So you want to humanize your communication. And what that means is that you communicate in a way that relates to the talent. So you're not just saying something generic. You're not just saying something because you want to say it, or just because you're trying to be strategic, right? You have to humanize your communication. Then another way to drive consistent communication and engagement is to share meaningful updates. It has to be meaningful. Keyword is meaningful. Share meaningful updates. Share if there is a new product launch. Share it. Let them know. Send it to them. Send them information about any new partnership or any CSR projects that the company is doing. Then you can also share employee success stories, or if there's any internal promotions, you share it. A lot of organizations are doing it on LinkedIn, If they just promoted somebody, they share the news. If they just employed somebody, they share the news as well, right? Also, you want to share maybe if there's any change in the industry that shows how the company is evolving, right? You also want to share that. So the goal actually is not to advertise. It's not just to advertise the organization, but it's just to signal relevance, right? And also momentum, like, okay, oh, we are moving, oh, and this is what we are doing. We are moving, we're on the move, and we just think that you could be a part of it. So that is the signal that you are giving to the candidates that you're trying to engage with. Then another way to stay consistent would be to create value, not just noise. So you're not making noise on LinkedIn or on social media. You're creating value for the person, for the talents, for the individuals, right? That you're trying to get into the organization if the role is made available, right? Then that would essentially entail offering insights, giving free webinars. There are a lot of organizations that do that. They just give free webinars on particular topics, right? They can do short learning sessions or share information through newsletters, that usually or that would essentially align with their career. That is why we say it has to be personalized. So we want to share all this information that is aligned with their career. So it just makes you a source of information, not just a recruiter, right? A source of value for them. They know that without you, they probably would not have had this information, or it is through you that they were able to get this information, or they were able to learn about this thing, or they were able to, grow to some extent. So you're not just a recruiter, you'll be a source of information. Then another would be to engage on social media and professional communities, right? So you can partner with organizations or communities and just, engage with them, share insight and all of that. And then still on consistent communication engagement, you want to share thought leadership post, right? If your organization is a finance organization, you want to share posts that are finance related, okay, on your social media. Then I mentioned, using CRM to celebrate employees or candidates milestone. It's another way to foster consistent communication and engagement. So you celebrate your pipeline candidates whenever they achieve something, right? Or maybe they hit a milestone. So a milestone rather. So you have to do it when it is appropriate. Okay, it's not. You cannot. I don't think it's possible to engage or everybody in the talent pipeline. That is why I said it has to be segmented, right? So you should have, if for instance, your talent pipeline has like 100 persons, you know that your top, you can segment them into say top 10. Then after top 10, you have your next top 20, like that. You know that the people you're going to be focusing on, that you'll be having very personalized communication with, celebrating their milestone and everything, would be those top talents, right? So it is very strategic. So you want to use any enabled CRM or ATS to support this particular process, like I mentioned before. Then, and like I said, you want to target hot talents for any personal engagement, comment on milestones, message them occasionally, invite them to events. So when we say message them occasionally, just keeping in touch with them, all those kind of, it doesn't have to be every time. It's just maybe like 3 months, once in 3 months, just to touch base with them and to just let them know that yes, we value them and all of that. So another way would be to host low pressure touch points. So what that means is you invite candidates, right? Promising or talent mixers, right? So you invite candidates to say an informal evening or an event. So it's not going to be formal. It's just for them to come and interact with maybe current employees, right? They just share experiences, laughter, jokes, and all of that. Nothing related to the job, right? Nothing related to the job, just for them to come and see, come and experience our culture, come and experience what our employees are like, right? So this builds their emotional connection to your culture, right? They come to know that, oh, this organization values its employees. Okay, so that means if they can be like this when I'm not even here, what's now going to look like when I'm with them, right? So it just helps them to build that emotional connection with the organization. Then you can also have virtual meetups, say, or webinars. So you can discuss hot topic-based session. You can host hot topic-based sessions where, candidates can gain insight into your people and your organizational value, along with learning about the brand. Okay, so yeah, that's majorly it for having consistent communication and engagement. So moving on, you want to also ensure that diversity and inclusion is included at all stages, right? You want to make sure that you factor in people, candidates from different backgrounds, different orientation, different nationality, different tribes, different religion, and all of that. There should be diversity and inclusion at every stages. So whether they're in the candidate database, or whether it's the candidate database or the talent pool or the talent pipeline, there should be diversity, gender diversity, religious diversity, national diversity, and all of that. You know what diversity means. So we should also always make sure that it is included. The next one is to gather continuous feedback to enhance experience. And what that means is that you should always make sure that you keep your data alive. Keep your data alive. Make sure that you use your data at every given point. Okay, so you want to use, for instance, the CRM to do that, or you want to use your ATS or your HRIS to do that. Okay, so so by the time you get continuous feedback, it helps you to know how your pipeline is doing, what needs to be tweaked, what needs to be changed, okay, what needs to be improved upon, who needs to be dropped, right? Because along the line, there are people that you might need to drop, right? There are people that you might need to stop engaging with, probably because they're no longer interested or they are not growing. So if somebody in your pipeline has not, for instance, moved on, they've not, in the space of 1 year, they've not taken any new course, they've not hit a new milestone, they've not grown in their organization, you just know that there's something wrong and you might want to drop that person. Okay, so it is through your data that you're able to get this feedback, and you can use the CRM or the HRIS or the ATS to tag and to track engagements of your talent, right? You can also use it to understand or to know who opened your emails, who clicked on your updates, who responded, and also when a new role opens, who is warm and who is ready, or who is not ready, or who is very ice cold. So you just know people that are ready to join the organization. So another is to track KPIs and metrics to measure effectiveness. Okay, so you want to track your KPIs and the metrics that you've set to make sure that where the talent pipeline is at the moment is where it's meant to be, so that you know whether your talent pipeline is actually at the level where we established it, or the goals that we set for this particular pipeline. Have we achieved it? Is it effective? Are we getting the right candidates? Are we getting are the candidates that we have, are they, being engaged effectively? Are we keeping them engaged? Are we keeping them warm? Do we know if we are going to, if the role we are envisioning for them, if it's made available today, right now, would they be able to join? So you want to be able to track all these KPIs and the metrics in order to make sure that your pipeline is effective. So challenges and solutions in managing talent pipelines. So not every organization actually does talent pipelines effectively, because there are a lot of challenges that people go through when they are trying to achieve that. So first is finding the right candidates. So to overcome this particular challenge, you want to make sure that you use very clear job descriptions. You can use AI-driven screening, and you can use skill-based assessment. I think there is a there's an app. There are AI interview tools that people can use, just to streamline the process and to make the process easier. So it takes up the mundane aspect of the, maybe the first level interviews. You can have the AI do that first level interview, and then you can now do the main interviews later when you're ready to now interview the people, the candidates in the talent pipeline. When they are ready to be really interviewed, to go through the recruitment process, you can now have the interview panel handle that. But maybe for the purpose of placing them in the talent pipeline, you can use the AI tools to just do the interviews. And then you also have to do the skill-based assessment as well. Then the next is another challenge is skill shortage. So you want to invest in upskilling, right? You want to invest in upskilling the employees that are already in the organization, right? Maybe partner with institutions, for instance. If there are organizations that train, for instance, if you're trying to maybe get software developers, there are organizations that train software developers, right? That's take them through a lot of training. You can partner with them and ask them to refer candidates to you, right? Just so that whenever you are in short supply, they can easily, refer people to you, and then from there you can fill up your talent pipeline. So also promote internal development. So don't just focus on getting employees from outside. There are employees inside that want to grow. They want to grow. And there are even people that maybe they're in the current position right now and they are looking to, transition to another role. You need to also give those people opportunities, right? Give them opportunities. So promote internal development. And that would mean that you invest in training and development of your employees, okay? So if they're not trained or developed, that means they cannot grow and they cannot be promoted, right? And then you're not giving them the opportunity to grow within the organization. Another one is engaging talents long term. It can be a challenge, really, but when you communicate with them regularly, when you maintain communication with them, you use personalized updates, you organize webinars, you do events, and you invite them to come, then you're engaging with them long term already. So when it's time for them, when the role is available, and you just maybe send them an email or pick up the phone and call them and look at and tell them, hey, this role is available now. Would you want to explore, or you do want to take up this opportunity? They are ready because you've been engaging with them for the longest of time. Then staying competitive could be another challenge. So what that would not entail would be that you offer flexible work arrangements. You excuse me, you let the employees or the candidates know that there's career growth within the organization. You make it clear to them. You give them a clear picture of what the career growth path looks like within the organization, and then you have a strong employee value proposition that would help you to continue to stay competitive. Then another is the changing workforce demographics. Okay, that is another challenge, and the solution would be for you to for organizations to foster inclusion. I talked about diversity and inclusion in the previous slide, as a way of, making sure that at every stage you include diversity and inclusion, right? So you want to make sure that you foster inclusion, flexibility, and a demographic sensitive engagement, right? So when you are engaging with your employees, you have to take note of their demography. Is this demography of, gender demographic or age demography or whatever it is? You have to be very sensitive to it. Then another is technology evolution. So we know that technology is evolving, a lot of AI tools, there are a lot of technological tools out there. So you want to adopt modern HR tech and provide regular training on new tools, okay? So employees in the organization already, you want to make sure that they are, they're up to date. They're following the trend, they're following the technology trend, they're following the AI trend, they know how to use these tools, okay? And so when it's time for them to put it to use, it's not, or when it's time to maybe for change management and all of that, it is not hard for them to, adapt or to be fully integrated with the tools, right? So it's very important that we're able to adopt modern HR tech and provide regular trainings on new tools. That way, we would not have any challenge with the evolution that is currently ongoing with, or that is continuously ongoing with technology. Then sourcing quality candidates, it's a real challenge, real challenge, a very difficult one. But when we are able to use diverse channels, right? We use referrals, we use networks, we use industry partnership, we use alumni and all of that, right? With this, we are able to, when you have these diverse channels, and then you also make use of job boards, you make use of social media, right? A combination of these should be able, you should be able to get quality candidates. Know-how, let me use that word. You should be able to get quality candidates. Then another challenge is weak employer branding. So how do you overcome that? Like I said earlier, you have to showcase your values. You have to showcase culture, and you have to also showcase success stories. And what are success stories? Your employer success stories. If this person was promoted, if this person is celebrating birthday, if this person is this person just got married, right? This person just attained the maybe the employee just maybe finished a course or finished a master's program and posted it on LinkedIn. You want to repost and congratulate the person on LinkedIn as well. Okay, you want to also maybe share success stories of the organization. If the organization won an award, the organization just formed a new partnership, or the organization is launching into a new program, new product, or the organization maybe just won a contract and all of that. You want to share success stories across digital platforms. So if you are posting on LinkedIn, make sure you're posting on Instagram, and you're posting on X, and you're posting on Facebook. So all the Instagram, all the social media channels that you are part of, you want to make sure that you showcase this story the same way in all your platforms, right? So these are the challenges, and then how we can overcome the challenges. So conclusion and key takeaways. So before I actually conclude, I want to also mention something that we can also re-engage at milestones. So what that means is, for instance, every 6 to 12 months. So talent pipeline, like we said, they are for future roles. So it means that the roles may not even be available at the moment, but we are envisioning that we'll have that role based on the objective that we've established, right? Based on the fact that we said, okay, in 2026, we are expecting that we would start this project. And so as HR, you don't want to be left stranded. You don't want to start running helter-skelter, right? You want to be prepared. And that is why the talent pipeline is important. So you know that the role is not available at the moment, right? But you've advertised for that role. You've gotten the candidates you want. You've gotten candidates applications. You reviewed the CVs. You've moved some people from the candidate database to the talent pool. You've moved people from talent pool to talent pipeline, right? And now you want to make sure that that talent pipeline is, people in that talent pipeline are sitting warm and they're ready to move when that role is made available. So if in 6 months, right, the role is not yet available, you want to touch base with the talents, with the candidates, right? So you can re-engage with them at milestones, maybe every 6 to 12 months. So you can do like a soft pulse check. You can share resources with them. You can inform, you can share info on maybe new products or whatever that aligns with them. Sometimes you can even say something like, oh, based on what you know about them, you can say, oh, we understand that you are looking to develop, or you are looking to grow in this particular field. How is that going for you, right? You're just checking up on them, okay? You can say, okay, we understand that you're interested in this particular field. We decided to share this resource with you, which we believe would be of value to you and help you to gain more insight into this field that you're aspiring to be in, right? So, like I said, the key is to nurture candidates. So you're not nurturing them like they are leads, right? But you're nurturing them in a way that builds relationships, just like networks. And the goal is mutual curiosity. So what that means is, okay, you as an organization, you are curious, you want to know more about these candidates. And that would in turn mean that the candidate is also curious enough to want to know and want to work with this organization, right? So, so that would not mean that when the timing finally aligns, there is no need for persuasion. You just activate immediately, right? So, now for the conclusion and key takeaways, the future of talent pipelines would essentially be led by AI. We can already see it, right? AI, predictive analytics, skill-based hiring. All of this will redefine how organizations identify and nurture talent, right? I mean, we can already see what AI is doing. We can already see what technology is doing. So all of this will redefine how we identify and nurture talent, remembering that the perception of work is changing. A lot of it is changing. Talk about self-expression, flexibility, talk about collaboration, value creation, borderless, work style, talk about moving from company loyalty to personal brand, having balance and well-being. Talk about work-life balance and all of that. So we know that the perception of work is changing. And another key takeaway would be to have continuous improvement. You want to regularly assess, adapt, and refine the pipeline strategies that you have to make sure that they stay aligned with the evolving business, the workforce needs, and even what's happening externally when it comes to technology, right? And then be strategically focused, right? So a healthy pipeline is not a one-time effort, it's a continuous effort, it is sustained, right? Just like someone's health, you don't just do something today, right? Or you eat today and you don't eat tomorrow, and or you drink water today and then you don't drink water tomorrow, and you expect to have a good health, right? It's not sustainable. A healthy pipeline is sustained. It's not a one-time effort, it's something that you have to continuously do. You have to be very conscious of it, right? So it is sustained, it is a data-driven process that ensures long-term organizational resilience. So, and that is why it is strategic, it has a strategic focus, right? So these are the key takeaways for this session. And I hope that I was able to do justice to this. Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, now is the time. So I hope that you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you very well. We're just waiting for Doctor to moderate the question and answer session.
All right.
You don't need to wait. To just raise your hand if you have question. No, Chinaza is a great moderator. Thank you. Well done.
Okay. Thank
Any
you.
question, comments,
Any
contribution?
questions?
Okay. All right. I thought nobody will ask a question. We have to. So let's start from Stella. Then we go to Tochukwu. Stella, just unmute. Just unmute. Or Tochukwu, you can go first.
Hello,
Okay.
good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chinasa. Chinaza, thank you so much. In fact, this is irreducible minimum that you have done. As in, I could just relate everything. My question will be, for some of us that have top parties with us, you also find out you have talents. For me, I'm like building a kind of pool, candidates pool for the 3Ps, the top parties. But what I want to find out now is there's something you have cleared me now here, because I now see the candidate pool, from candidate pool to talent pool, then from that to pipeline. So can one replicate these two for where you have the top party? Because at times we find some talents among them and we try to bring them over, like conversion, right? So I wouldn't know if I'm doing the right thing by creating them differently from the FTEs or the proposed candidates or talents we are looking out for direct engagements. I wouldn't know if you understand my question.
Okay, so like you have an agency, right? And you do recruitment for people for other organizations.
No, rightly in the office. No, in the organization. In the organization.
Okay,
It's not an agency.
Okay.
Yes, in the organization.
So what does third parties mean?
We have third-party engagement in the office where you have vendors. Okay, agencies provide us with workers, right?
Okay.
So yes.
So like contract employees, none of that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, of course, it's something, yeah, you can do that. Obviously, there are organizations that move say contract staff to being permanent staff, or they'll move maybe agents, right, to permanent staff. In my previous organization, we had so it's a call center, right? An outsourcing firm, right? So there are organizations that, okay, just because this particular agent is performing really well, they asked that my organization release that agent to them to become their full staff, right? So it's something that you can do if you see that this person is performing very well, and maybe your organization has plans to make that particular role, a full-time role in the organization. You can definitely do that. That's if your organization is planning to make that role a permanent, part of the payroll. You want it to the role to be like part of the roles, full-time roles in the organization. It's definitely something you can do. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I think you're already on the right path by even starting that already.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Chinaza, thank you very much. And Doctor, thank you for giving us this platform to have these conversations. Chinaza, you've done a very great job. Thank you. So the only question I have, because when you were making your presentations about building the pipeline, I was just thinking in my mind, imagine it is me in a particular role, and you're building pipeline for my role. So how do you manage the emotional, should I say, reactions of the existing staff in that role, knowing that, okay, they are already planning for life after me? Are they planning to sack me? You know, how does it impact on my motivation to continue my job, knowing that you're already building pipeline, I'm in the job, but you've advertised for the role, you have people on the pipeline for the next 6 months. So that shows more like there is a strategy to knock me off the role. You know, I don't know how you see it. Do you envisage that as a problem, and how can we navigate that kind of complexity? Thank you.
Okay, that's a very interesting question, really. So I think for starts, having a clear conversation, right? Or transparency is key. Transparency is key. And I think that having the employee understand that, I don't know, but I think that it's just having the employee understand that business is business. We just have to prepare for any eventuality, because at the end of the day, when employees want to leave, they will not tell you, they would leave eventually, right? So most times how it can be done is, okay, we are scaling, we are planning for the future, we envisage that maybe we are going to have growth in this particular organization, and so we just want to be prepared for any eventualities, or for, you know, any business growth that the organization is going to experience. But I think overall, being very transparent and helping the employee to understand the reason why this is done would be very important. So maybe we can have a conversation with the employee and tell them, look, this is what it is, and this is a normal HR practice, right? We're just making sure that we are planning against any contingency. So for me, I would think, or I would say, is a matter of transparency, open communication, effective communication, and just helping empathetically, you know, helping the employee understand the nuance behind why we do what we do. I don't know if that one answers your question.
Okay, yeah, it does. Just that somehow, technically, I think we'll be lying. We will not really be saying the truth if we are saying about expansion, because it might not really be it. But then let's leave that aside. Then the other question I had was, how do we manage the data protection part of it? Because putting people on the pipeline means keeping their CV for such a time. How long, should I say, how long do we need to keep the CVs of people in the pipeline? And because when you keep their CVs in the pipeline, of course, you need to inform them that their CVs are on the pipeline and all that. And that creates also expectation that hopefully in the next couple of months, I'm going to get employment with company ABC. So how do we manage the data protection angle vis-a-vis the expectation of the people on the pipeline? How long should we keep the CVs? You know, when do we discard it? When do we start afresh? And how do we manage the expectations of these prospective employees? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I don't think there's any legal say framework that we have to follow in Nigeria. But I know that, for instance, maybe in other countries, maybe in the UK or US, I think for US, you have to maybe retain for 1 to 2 years after maybe your last contact with the applicant or the candidates, right? So, and then there are guidelines, I mean, for the US employment sector, right? There are guidelines that you can follow, but I do not think that there is any for Nigeria. So if we are to follow, best practice will now be like maybe around 1 year, right? After maybe we fill the role, or yeah, I think after we fill the role, we have to like discard now after 1 year if we're not going to use the CV again. But because we are still envisaging, remember I said in 6 months or 12 months, we have to touch base with the with the candidate. That means that we still need to keep this candidate's CV for future engagement and all of that. But if we are not going to, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, but if we are not going to engage anymore with this person, that means we have to let go of the CV. So what was the other question?
I asked how you manage expectations of these people on the pipeline.
So managing expectation, so it's not as though, right? It's not as though we are telling them that we are employing them immediately. So what we are saying is we have we are looking at, we are looking at opening a certain role in the future. We're expecting that there's going to be a role in the future, and we just want to make sure that we have people on ground. So we are not going to be telling them, oh, there's a job for you, there's a job for you, there's a job for you. So we are just going to be engaging with them based on the fact that we are going to employ them. We know that we are not going to employ all of them, right? But we just want to make sure that there's somebody or there are people that would be readily available for us to put into roles in the future. So how we can manage expectation would be, for instance, right? We've had maybe first level interview, or we've had the AI maybe interview screen and all of that. We can just tell them that, okay, we want to keep your CV in view for future roles, right? The thing about HR is that there are times when we just have to be very diplomatic in the way we talk, right? We know what the truth is, but we are not going to tell them that, okay, this is the situation, there is no rule at the moment, but we want to keep you warm in the future. No, we just have to just keep engaging with them strategically, having them interested. The goal is to have them interested in working with us when the opportunity arises, right? When the opportunity arises, that's the goal, for them to be able to work with us when the opportunity arises. So we are not going to tell them that there's a job immediately, or we can even tell them a job is coming up in 6 months. We want to keep your CV in view, right? That's if we are very sure that the role is going to be open in 6 months, right? If it's 1 year, we can even tell them, okay, the role is going to be open in 1 month or 1 year, and we would like you to be interviewed for this role. So we are not promising them a role. We are not going to do that. We're not going to promise anybody, because at the end of the day, they are going to go through the recruitment process. So what if they go through the recruitment process and they're not successful in the whole process? So we are not giving them hope, or we're not giving them assurance that there's a job. We are just making them, fall in love with our organization, want to work with our organization, so that by the time we interview all the people in our list, we should be able to get one very good person that would fill the role. And from this, like the list from which this one person came from would be like the top talents that we kept in our pipeline. So we are not really promising them anything. We are just making them understand. We just want them to, fall in love with our organization, be more engaged, be super interested in wanting to work with us. And that is why employer branding is important, because it's even be easy to attract these people when it's time for us to, engage them in the role permanently. So I don't know if that's really answered your question.
That answers. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. At this intersection, please let's unmute and appreciate, celebrate, thank, show gratitude to our amiable facilitator for tonight, Chinaza.
Hello.
We will come
Thank
again.
you so much.
All right, please come again. January 2026. Come again, please.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you, Chinaza. That was a cruise. We were on a cruise for over 1 hour now.
I tell you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.